So CC, our favorite depressing Gen X flat earther, once again back in his car. This video is entitled Plausible Possibility Beyond Flat Earth Aging? Not quite sure what this is going to be about, but we can check it out.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's February 27th, 2021. And there's a couple things. It's unbelievable. You know, on the highways now, what I've noticed? A large increase of the smell of marijuana. It reeks. I mean, don't people realize that if you're in front of me and you're smoking a joint, and that's your choice, I don't care, enjoy yourself.
No, you should not smoke weed and drive. Don't smoke weed and drive. Don't ruin weed for everyone else by giving it a bad name, by driving while intoxicated. Come on, people. If you feel the need to go and get... And I've heard some people be like, well, I like going around and driving around nature. If you like that when you're high that much, then get a sober driver. You eat an edible or something before you leave the house, and then you have them drive you around. Do not drive while high.
But I could smell it right behind you, so if I was a cop, I would flip up my lights and pull you over. Don't they even bother hiding it anymore? Anyway. A couple quick things I want to bring up to you. I was unable to do a Think About It Friday, but sorry about that. I was a bit busy. And unfortunately, the only day that I really got to shoot the moon was on Thursday. And that was the only clear day we had. I'm going to get into the global warming shit with you, too. Global warming. I love that. Isn't that great? I'll get into that in a minute.
It's not great. But, it's going to kill a lot of people and has already killed many animals.
But, I mean, it's just been cloudy. It's been snowing. It's the worst winter we've ever had in the last 5 years. But, okay, look. Let me get into...
Yes, that's a part of climate change. Global warming, while over time creates an increase in average global temperatures, is also called climate change because it creates extreme weather events that swing both directions.
All right? Let me dive right in and just talk to you about the plausible possibility of beyond flat Earth aging. Aging is very interesting to me. Okay? And if you were a computer programmer, how would you program your computer to age a character in there? You give them lines, you know, maybe a cane, getting fatter. You know, I mean, this is all part of aging.
And then he was wearing glasses to show that time had gone by. John Mulaney.
But is that the only thing that could be thought up of in aging? You know,
Those are stereotypical markers of aging because those are very visible indicators, but they're not the only ones.
What happens if you never age and you're here because you want to know about how aging is? You want to know about love, you want to know about hate, you want to know about corruption, you want to know about everything. And this is where you find out about it, right here. Anyway, okay, look, back to the digital world.
What?
Now, humans...
Is he about to go on about lizard people or something, too?
We age. We're always looking for this fountain of youth, you know, and nobody can ever find it, nobody can ever get it. Everybody always says there's something out there, some lotion, something that could prevent you from aging, and it's inevitable. You are going to age. That's just how it is. Your hair gets grayer.
Ooh, that seems like a sore point for him. That's a shame. Beyond all the crazy conspiracy stuff, I think he rocks the silver hair look. I think it's fine.
But now, if you were a computer programmer, what would you do to age that character? And there's only a couple things that you can really do to age that character. And if you look at the other species that are on this flat land that we live on, covered in a dome, they don't really age either.
Who doesn't age?
You know what I'm getting at? Like, I had a turtle for like 25 years and the freaking thing never aged. It got a little-
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Just because you cannot personally see the signs of aging on your turtle, which I doubt. The turtle probably at least got bigger. I imagine there are signs of aging in turtles. What's the average turtle lifespan? Typical pet turtles can live between 10 and 80 years. Some larger species can live up to 100 years. So, well, there was probably, and some anecdotal records show they could live up to 150. Let's say 80 to 100. Over 25 years, especially depending on what age you get the turtle, there'll probably be some growth, assuming they're not already full-grown adults, but they may be. But especially if you get them as a full-grown adult, you're probably not going to notice that much of a difference over 25 years, because they have very long lifespans. Their metabolisms don't go very fast. They're slow creatures. They age slower.
little bigger, but I mean, you know, a turtle or
They're not wearing out their bodies too quick.
Animal is only going to grow to the size that its surroundings are, you know, basically, or to its surroundings. Anyway, so, but it never changed. It never aged. Turtles don't get sick. They don't.
Turtles definitely get sick. What? Turtle disease is... Turtle diseases. Pet turtles. Cute but commonly contaminated with salmonella. There's a disease your turtle can catch. What diseases can turtles catch? Looks like salmonella's a big one, but I imagine there are other ones as well. Shell rot? That's apparently a disease. Common diseases of pet turtles. Common conditions of pet turtles include vitamin A deficiencies, respiratory diseases, abscesses, shell infections, fractures, and parasites.
As far as I know, there's no disease that kills turtles.
This is so indicative of CC's whole problem. And we've watched CC videos before. But CC, if he doesn't already know something, he assumes that information doesn't exist. Because he lacks knowledge of specific turtle diseases, and to be fair, so did I before I Googled it, but I didn't assume just because I didn't know the answer, that the answer was there were no turtle diseases. He is chronically suffering from Dunning-Kruger. He assumes that he knows so much about everything that if he doesn't know a thing, it must be because that information isn't out there or doesn't exist. We've seen this in his previous videos where he was talking about rocketry and orbital mechanics, and he was like, oh, if space was real, how would we send rockets places? The orbital mechanics would be too complicated. No one could figure it out. No, CC, you can't figure it out. That doesn't mean no one can. I can't figure it out either because I didn't go to school for that, and that's not something I'm interested in, and that's not my expertise. But that doesn't mean other people don't. And just because I don't know about turtle diseases and you don't know about turtle diseases doesn't mean there aren't any. Everyone lives in a little circle, right? This circle is the knowledge that we have about the world. This is the knowledge we have about the world in which we live. And the total sum of knowledge about the world is a circle bigger than any of us can imagine. And our circle is just somewhere in there. And everyone has different circles where they all have their different knowledge and expertise. But to assume that your circle of knowledge is the only knowledge that exists is so narcissistic and borderline solipsistic that it frustrates me to no end. Cece, there are things you don't know. That's okay.
They like live forever. I finally had to let the thing go. Anyway, but you know.
Wait, why did you get rid of your pet turtle? After you had a pet turtle for 25 years? And you just got sick of them and were like, all right, fuck off, turtle. You ass. What are you doing? What do you mean you had to let it go? You had it for 25 years. Did you take a fucking turtle that you've had your whole life probably at that point, and you let it go out in the wilderness to die? You dick.
You know, other things like fish. Fish, do they age? I mean, have you ever seen a fish?
Yes, fish age. What do you mean, do fish age? What?
Fish age? Octopuses. You know, whales. I mean, all these other animals don't seem to be aging.
Again, indicative of what I'm saying. Because CC is not a marine biologist, and because he isn't paying attention to specific fish and their aging process, he assumes it doesn't exist. It's like he never developed object permanence, where he thinks if he can't directly see something, then all of a sudden it ceases to exist the second it leaves his eye line. If he's never seen a whale age over time, then whales must live forever. It's such a bizarre mindset. I can't even put myself in that frame of reference. I don't understand.
You know, dogs, you know, dogs like cats and stuff like that, they do age. You see that.
Yes, you and I see that, because those are domesticated animals that we are around all the time, so you can monitor that change. CC. How often are you looking at one single whale over years of its life and making observations about it years ago versus today? You've never done that. Let's Google whale aging. That's probably a thing we can find, right? Let me take off these gloves because it gets hard to type in these. We already looked up turtle disease. How do whales age? How do they determine the age of whales? Evidently, the techniques used on carcasses are of no help when attempting to estimate the age of living whales. In fact, researchers have very few non-invasive and sufficiently accurate methods of their disposal. Whether working in the field or examining a photo, the seasoned eyes of specialists can differentiate newborns from juveniles or adults thanks to characteristics such as their relative size and color of their skin. For example, the beluga changes color in the first few years of its life. Cafe au lait at birth, it turns bluish-gray after a year, then becomes increasingly paler year after year until it reaches adulthood. But once an adult beluga has turned completely white, the human eye can no longer estimate its age. It could take 12 years old just as well as it could be 60. We can determine the true age of an individual through photo ID techniques, if it has been known and photographed since birth. Otherwise, the minimum age of a whale can be determined based on its first photo. Photo identification is a method that works well, but requires a great deal of resources and must be conducted continuously and every season if one wishes to photograph individuals from the year of their birth. Aging of fat. The age of a whale can be assessed from a biopsy, which consists of a tiny sample of fat tissue obtained using a dart. This fatty tissue contains a variety of fatty acids, whose composition is strongly influenced by diet. Researchers have obtained promising results by analyzing the ratios between different fatty acids in order to evaluate age. Some fatty acids are associated with old age, while others are rather characteristic of young or juvenile animals. However, this method is not universal. A separate model must be designed for each population due to the influence of diet on fatty tissue composition. Sorry, gotta catch my breath. So there are methods to determine the age of whales and shit. You get it.
But those animals are part of us. You know, we've domesticated dogs and cats. But you see where I'm getting at? You live in a digital world. I mean, this is digital that you live in.
We are living in in a digital world, and I am a digital girl.
And that's
Was that worth a pause? Probably not.
just how it is. It just seems like exactly that. I mean, it really is incredible. I mean, what else could a computer programmer think of? You know, I mean, really, you got to make it simple. I mean, what other thing is going to make you look older? You know?
Okay, but you're basing that off your observations of what makes people get older, right? Which is the thing that happens naturally. So you're trying to translate that into programming, but it would be like trying to describe a color that you've never seen before. You can't do it because you haven't seen it. So to say, like, how would you program people to look older? I can only describe to you what I have seen in terms of what makes people look older.
Lines, I mean, all of it. It's there, you know. And then that's the only thing anybody would ever do in a digital world. You know, it just spells it all over the place. It's there for you to see. It's there for you to figure out. There are tests that are done, and we haven't even done half the tests. Different countries have done them. You know, when you're not looking at something, it's kind of faded out. It's not really until you actually focus in on it and you look at it. It presents itself perfectly.
Is he referencing incorrectly the double slit experiment? Like, does he think that when I'm not looking at, let's say no one is observing my kitchen right now, assuming the kitty is not in the kitchen, no one is observing the kitchen right now. Is his proposition that similarly to a video game, that if no one is observing a specific section of reality, then that section of reality ceases to exist? Because that's not how that works. When a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Yes. Yes, it does. Your observation is not a necessity for reality to exist.
Digitally. The sun could be right over there and it's lighting up something underneath over, you know, on a hill all the way over there. It's just incredible, isn't it? I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, and this is beyond flat Earth. If you're not a flat Earther, you'll never understand this. You'll never get it. And why even bother watching me? So, you know, skip to the next channel and watch your squirrels. You gotta love those little flying squirrels and, you know, the dogs on the skis. You know, that's...
It might vibrate the air, but if no one hears it, is it truly making a sound? Yes. Because our definition of sound is disturbances in the air that creates waveforms. It is making a sound.
The stupidity of social networking, and that's why I never got into it, and that's why I got fed up when I found out that the Earth is flat, you know, that we were covered with a dome, that everything is a fucking lie, and I had to put a channel out. I had to let people know how I feel, okay? Pissed, and don't even get me started about what's going on right now. I mean, forget it. One thing after another. One day it's popcorn all day long. I feel sorry for the people that are out of work. They must be going out of their minds because all they do is they just sit there and watch TV. Oh, maybe no, they might be playing video games. Okay, now let's go into this global.
Is he about to get boomery about video games? Back in my day, we had Pong, and that was enough.
Stuff that's going on. Now picture yourself being in a container, okay? And
I'm there. I'm in a room right now, which is sort of like a container, but for me and all my stuff.
Is a constant amount of CO2. 24 hours a day for the last 100 years. And quite a bit of it. Don't you think that's going to affect the weather? Look, here in New York...
Yes, it does. The greenhouse gas accumulation in the atmosphere is causing global warming. Correct.
What we have now is we have 3, maybe 2 or 3 years.
What is he running over? It looks like he's on like a road that's had a lot of spot repairs. When I've driven down roads like that too. I live in Michigan where the roads are like constantly under construction. It just looks like he's running over the, you know, I don't know what they would call them. Basically, they take I've seen them do it before. There's cracks in the highway or in the road, and they just take like a thing that sort of fills the cracks in with some tar or some other substance, and it's not fully even, but it's enough that it works.
Years of mild winters. Okay. And then all of a sudden,
He's in, I think he said New York, so...
bam, we get hit. And we just were. We were slaughtered this winter. And same throughout the entire country
Divots.
here in the U.S.
Sure.
I mean, let's take a look at, Washington apparently was in, rain for, 2 weeks. Let's take a look at Texas. I mean, really? Are you kidding me? Single digits in Texas? Really? And I don't know what happened in Arizona, but I'm sure they were in a drought. Throughout the entire country. California. I mean, really, it's amazing that, yes, global warming exists because we live on a flat plane.
No, global warming exists because we live on a spherical Earth, which has an atmosphere being held to the Earth via gravity, and that also applies to greenhouse gases that we release into the atmosphere that become a part of the atmosphere, all being held to the Earth via gravity.
We live in a contained dome. That is the only way we can even breathe in air, for crying out loud.
No!
Planets exist. How?
Gravity!
How do they exist?
The answer to so many flat Earth questions are always just gravity, and then they get mad when you say gravity, and they're like, oh, are you gonna say gravity? When it's the answer, yes.
Possible. It doesn't work out. There's no way it's impossible. What's beyond us? I don't know. We don't even know what exactly the material is that's covering us. We have no idea. It's just I haven't seen a lot of chemtrails lately, actually, but we've been covered with clouds, so God knows what they're doing above the clouds. Because these don't look that low. If you look it up, Google tells you every day what the cloud ceiling is going to be.
Okay, that's chemtrails on the bingo sheet. Where is that one? We don't get that one often, but I always appreciate when we do. Here we go.
This only looks like maybe 10 or 15,000 feet right now. How did I get to... What? How the fuck am I even talking about this? Who gives a shit? Okay. These are all observations that I make on a consistent... Every day. About a digital world that we live in, about the corruption of the government, about everything that's being brought upon you, that you've lived your life locked up for the last year. Unless if you're an essential worker. That's different. You were working. But still you didn't go out and enjoy yourself, did you? No, you couldn't, because everything was shut down. And then the politician comes out and says, oh yeah, you guys done a really good job, and I think we're going to reopen you to 35%. What? 35%? Dude, you told us fucking a year ago that we would only have this go on for 2 months.
And then no one listened. Well, I shouldn't say no one listened. A lot of people listened, but a lot of other people completely disregarded safety protocols. The federal government sat on its ass and did nothing, and then politicized PPE that could have helped prevent the spread before it got to this level. A lot of people fucked up. Conspiracy theorists are a huge part of the problem as to why we are where we are now with the disease, because they're refusing to wear masks and do basic things like social distancing.
And here we are, not even at full capacity yet, at least not in my state. And it just seems, what really does amaze me, though, is how trained they are, though. When that report came out that people should go out and wear possibly 3 face masks, I swear to you, within a 24-hour period, like the very next day, I see people in my area with a minimum of 2 face masks on now. 2. It makes you feel guilty, doesn't it? What about getting the shot?
You should feel guilty. Put on a goddamn mask.
To call this in England the stab, Oh no, the jab. What about that jab? You gonna get the jab? No, I don't think so.
get it, you dummy. I don't like you, but I don't want you to die of a respiratory disease either. Please protect yourself and your family.
I'm not gonna jab myself with some sort of Frankenstein. Jesus. Oh man. You know, the serum must. If of course we ourselves can't get a sample of this serum, can you?
What would you do with it if you had it? Let's say we gave CC and we said, "Oh, I saw your YouTube video. I am a scientist. I have brought you a sample of the vaccine. Would you like to examine it?" What's he gonna do? Take it and go, "Yep, that's the vaccine." Like, he would have no way of investigating it. What would he do with it if he got one? What does that even mean? I guarantee he doesn't own a microscope. Even if he did, what would he look at? What would he be doing?
Do you know what it is? No. Why not? Just wait in line for it. You know, hey, what? Why did you wait 4 months for it? You know, and eagerly wait for it. You know, say, and keep calling up and say, you know, where's my shot? Where's my shot? Where's my shot?
You don't have to do that. You sign up with, like for me, either the local place near me, which is a Meijer. That's where I've gotten flu shots and stuff in the past. You get put on a waiting list, or you can do so through a website via the state that will notify you when it's your turn, basically. And then they'll shoot you a text or an email or whatever when it's time for that. You don't have to call them.
That's how addictive people have become of the news. Well, they just say one fucking thing. It's unbelievable. Then this person does it, then that person does it, and that person does it. And that's why I call them trained rats. It's as simple as that. That's what it all means. Would you jump off the Empire State Building? Sure as shit you will, if enough people do it.
No. The funny thing is here, you're the one doing the jumping because you're refusing to take medicine for a disease that could kill you because other conspiracy people on the internet told you to do that, but whatever.
Oh, it's just, it's, okay. All right. Oh, the geese are back. Sometimes they fly away, and now they're coming back because we're starting to get into warm weather. Get happy. You know, we're finally possibly opening back up. We're not quite sure yet at what capacity we're doing it because they're so unorganized and they're making shit up every fucking day, but it doesn't make a difference, you know? Really. It's just the mere fact that we have gotten a nice little, I don't know, the sky just is flashing his, okay, look, forget it, treat, shall we say, for acting like good citizens, trained citizens, and not arguing with the people from the supermarket, but we have.
Stop arguing with minimum wage workers when it's a fucking policy. Just put a goddamn mask on, you loser.
We have been trying to get our rights back because of all of our rights.
You haven't lost a single right. We're in the middle of a public health crisis. Behave like a member of society for like a year. That's all we asked, and you couldn't do it for a week. So shut up. So shut up and stay home if you can't behave like a decent member of society. You have rights in society, but rights don't come on their own. Rights also are bundled with responsibilities, and your responsibility during a public health crisis is to go ahead and follow guidelines like wearing a mask and social distancing and staying in your homes. But you couldn't do it. You want all the rights with none of the responsibilities because you never became an adult. You're a bunch of children. You are children in adult bodies. Learn to grow up.
Taken over, all of them. They tell you exactly what to do. They tell you when to go to sleep, when to go home. They tell you where you can eat. They tell you what you can eat.
Literally no one is telling you any of those things. If they have a curfew, again, public health reasons, go home or go to a friend's house, I guess, but you shouldn't be out in public. Telling you where to eat? No, you can get takeout from just about Anywhere that still exists. Telling you what to eat? Certainly not. You can eat whatever you want. What are you talking about?
Yeah. That healthy Italian restaurant over there, no. We're going to close him down. We're going to let McDonald's and Burger King and all the fast food joints that have all the nice fattening food for you.
Healthy Italian restaurant? If you're going to an Italian restaurant and it's healthy, you're going to a shitty Italian restaurant. You need layer upon layer of red sauce and cheese. Otherwise, what's the point?
Opened 24 hours a day.
If I'm not close to ODing on carbs, why am I at your Italian restaurant? Now bring me more breadsticks. I did mention cheese, so that is on the bingo card. It's always nice when it happens naturally, isn't it?
No, it's so obvious. I mean, they have to do this for a reason. Okay.
Also, your Italian restaurant, sorry to get off topic there, your Italian restaurant, your local one or whatever, they can still operate as long as they're doing takeout. A lot of businesses are thriving right now because they're doing takeout or delivery, and that's great.
Okay, they have to. The question is, when is the next level? Where are they going to push this next level? Because they've already seen what they've done here, and they can get away with pretty much anything now at this point. You know, now that they've laid...
It's not about getting away with things. It's trying to put a lid on a global pandemic that has killed 500,000 people in the United States alone.
Down the platform right now. They now know that they can get away with anything. And they keep giving money out. I just heard there this stimulus package. I don't know if it's an okayed yet. There's a couple of Republicans apparently that don't want to do it.
No Republicans voted for it in the Senate. What are you talking? He doesn't even know what he's talking about in regard to this shit. Why are you talking if you don't know what you're talking about?
Who knows? I'm sure it's going to go through. Because that's just how it is. They've got to give you money. You know, if there's no money in your pocket, that's when the riots start. Okay? That's exactly what's going to happen. So if you keep them happy and give them a couple of little, clamshells, give them little tidbits, some crumbs, they'll be happy. If they're qualified to earn it, I don't know.
Yeah, they're trying to give people money because we're in the middle of a global pandemic that caused a severe economic downturn and record unemployment. The government is supposed to help protect citizens. Did you know that?
No. But anyway, my point is, you're living in a fake world. All of this has been created because of Flat Earth. This is all happening.
Everything that's happening is because of his pet conspiracy theory. Nothing else.
Because of Flat Earth. Okay? And that's it. Bottom line. This is the reason why all of this is happening. This is why the chaos is going out. This is why your daughter or your son is not in school right now. Okay? And they're just starting to reopen it in March. Okay? And their lives have been disrupted for the last year. This is all because of Flat Earth.
No, it's because of a disease that destroys people's respiratory system.
And that's it. It's not because of anything else. You do remember that Close Encounters scene when they tried to make something up that would make people disappear when the UFOs came out on Devil's Tower. And they say it wouldn't work. Well, it worked. It worked very well. It worked perfectly. But, you know, in return, what's happened are people have just lost their businesses and everything like that. But anyway, look, now I'm rambling. And you're not really interested in a lot of the other shit that I think about. But I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
Ooh, let's equal out this ratio. Boop. 30 to 30. Not bad. I can't believe he's just so consistent on his uploads. Oh, this was funny. You know how there was the recent Mars rover that got sent, NASA sent to Mars, and one of the things that's on it, it's very cool, is a helicopter. Not a full-sized helicopter, obviously, but it's like a scientific helicopter that they're going to use to scout things out. It's very neat. CC is like, that has to be fake, because how is a helicopter flying when Mars has no atmosphere? Now, anyone who knows even a little bit about Mars is going to spot the problem with that assertion immediately. The problem with that statement is Mars does have an atmosphere. It's just not a breathable atmosphere, but it has an atmosphere. So that's fun. This is just a brief 3-minute video, so let's get through this real quick and then I'll move on.
Good morning, good evening, good
The atmosphere is thinner, but it does exist.
afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris.
It's thinner because Mars has even though Mars and Earth are actually pretty similar in size, relatively speaking, I believe Mars is less dense, meaning it has less mass, so its gravity is weaker, so it's not going to have as much of a pull on the atmosphere, creating a thinner atmosphere.
From New York, Westchester County. And how's everybody doing in Westchester County? Everybody good? Yeah, here in New York. You know, I mean, we're just coming out of a major winter storm. And Texas.
He's normally so loud in his car, but I can tell he's speaking quietly, probably because his wife is home, and as we've seen from previous videos, she hates his flat earth shit and thinks he's an idiot. So that's kind of funny, imagining her, like, reading a book in the other room, and him trying to, like, sneakily do flat earth videos without her noticing.
Apparently is coming back to my last video that I posted, and I think
Is it far smaller than the Earth? I apologize then. Maybe I'm thinking of a different planet. Let me take a look real quick. I just want to correct myself so I'm not spreading bullshit. Mars versus Earth size. Because I know the gravity's weaker on Mars. What's the other one I'm thinking of then? Venus! I'm sorry. I was thinking of how Venus is relatively close in size to the Earth as opposed to Mars. That's my bad. Apologies. Correction. Thank you for catching me on that.
the publisher of that video. See, the problem is, in Flat Earth, we have a big problem. I mean, not only getting the satellite, you know, to the planet itself, which is just absolutely, computations are impossible.
They're far from impossible. Just because you can't do them and because I can't do them doesn't make them impossible. Go play Kerbal Space Program for a simplified version.
Figure that out. Because you don't know how high you are and low you are and whatever it may be, it doesn't make a difference. It's impossible. But when you try to figure out the atmospheric conditions on a planet that doesn't exist, and then you're projecting a helicopter on top of it.
They don't necessarily have to predict atmospheric conditions, considering we've sent probes to Mars before that didn't have, you know, little drone helicopters on them, and they've taken atmospheric readings. We know what Mars's atmosphere is like.
Pushing up air that you have no idea what the atmospheric conditions are.
They know what the atmospheric conditions of Mars are.
And how would we? Don't you see how it's impossible? Don't you see that everything you're looking at up there is just an amazing fucking light show? And that's all it is.
Nope. They're stars and planets.
They're gonna lie to you is beyond belief. They're going to lie to you.
I almost want to take his face here and turn it into an emote. This sort of semi-pained look.
And they need to. They need to lie to you. They couldn't figure how else to explain it to people. Back in 1958, they figured it out. Then how do I know this? I don't know. How do I know this? I know that everything is a fucking lie. That's how I know it. Every fucking okay.
He had to stop himself. He was about to get too heated, and his wife was going to hear him yelling about flat Earth in the kitchen, and she was going to come kick his ass.
Everything is a lie. And when you see this, you'll understand. Alright, that's it. I'm done. Alright, I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos and being a part of my life.
Okay, so that's CC for the day. Yeah. More flat Earth, space denier, BS.